Hey friends, welcome back. So some good news first. Kody Brown's little attempt to rope Janelle back into the fold? Yeah, it didn't work, and it's not going to last. As I've mentioned before, Janelle is busy building a brand new home in North Carolina, right on the same property she co-owns with her daughter and son-in-law, Caleb. Just this past week, Kody told Janelle that he felt like he'd left her in harm's way by marrying her and then basically dropping her into the clutches of the dangerous Meri. Now, he didn't say Meri's name out loud, but let's be real, we all knew exactly who he meant. Who else gets the unsafe, erratic, monstrous label in the Brown family? That's right, Meri Brown. When Kody apologized for leaving her in what he called an unsafe situation, for not having her back and for not giving her the life she deserved, it kind of looked for a brief moment like he might actually win her back. But here's the thing. Kody doesn't want polygamy. He's made that crystal clear time and time again. He only wants to be with Robyn. And when Robyn was asked about the idea of one of the other women coming back, it was obvious she wasn't having it. Meanwhile, Janelle was left scratching her head, thinking, wait, Kody, why are you apologizing to me now? Are you trying to get back together? You're laying it on a little thick, buddy. Fans had all kinds of reactions too. Many were like, Janelle, what's going on? Why are you accepting his apology? Where's the pushback? Where's the defense of your kids? A lot of people also pointed out that emotionally, Janelle might just not have the bandwidth for arguments right now. She's grieving her son and trying to find some sense of normalcy after such a huge loss, which can make anyone feel vulnerable and not want to fight. But let me put your minds at ease. The idea that she's going back to Kody? Absolutely not. Even though the upcoming episode is teasing something like, should we get back together? And Janelle does talk about the possibility, it really seems like just a passing thought. Honestly, we all know how TLC loves to edit things to make us think one thing is happening when it really isn't. So Janelle was having a heart-to-heart with a friend, saying something like, well, maybe I've thought about it. Maybe I debated it. And honestly, fleeting thoughts about getting back with an ex, totally normal. Happens to the best of us. Just because the thought pops into your head doesn't mean you actually act on it. Sometimes you can be around someone who once gave you the full-on ick and they say all the right things, make it sound all heartfelt, and for a moment you're like, But then reality hits and you remember exactly why you hated them in the first place. Luckily, Janelle seems to snap out of it pretty quickly. By the next episode, when Kody and Meri are supposed to have their big conversation, Janelle is taking control of her own path. She actually consults Meri about going through a spiritual release. So despite Kody's best efforts to confuse her and distract her with his usual nonsense, Janelle and Meri are focused on something meaningful, processing and healing. And apparently, this part of the story will air in the upcoming episode, in 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks, folks. TLC is really stretching this apology saga out. In the next couple of weeks, the episodes are all about Kody meeting up with Christine. Then at the very end of December, like December 28th, Kody will finally apologize to Meri. But here's a twist. Meri's friends aren't thrilled about Kody reaching out to her. They try to talk her out of even meeting with him. And honestly, I get it. They know Meri, they know Kody, and they know he has a tendency to play with her heart and mind. He's manipulative, and her friends are just trying to protect her. One thing I'll say about Meri, even with all the criticism she gets, is that she has a solid support network. Many of her friends have first-hand experience with polygamy. They've either grown up in it, were plural wives themselves, or have left the lifestyle and now help other women do the same. That kind of network makes a huge difference. They understand the unique challenges she's faced, can empathize, and provide guidance. Compare that to Janelle, who, of course, has never lived in polygamy herself. She can empathize, sure, but she hasn't walked in those exact shoes. Meri's friends, having lived that world, offer insight and support that's specific and deeply relevant. And in Meri's case, that kind of support system can be a total game changer.
It really, really helped Meri a lot because getting out of that life wasn't easy for her. She struggled a lot. And there's something kind of ironic about the whole situation. On the show, Kody and Robyn will sometimes talk about their church, even though they're no longer active in it, but Robyn still views it as her religion. And honestly, that always struck me as a little odd. A few years ago, someone connected to Meri through their spouse actually reached out to me. They're a family member and shared something interesting about the lead-up to the show. Apparently, right before filming began, the church leaders were strongly against it. One of the leaders, Lemoyne Jensen, I think, basically told Kody from the pulpit that going on the show was a direct revelation from God that would ruin his family. Kody was doing it for all the wrong reasons, the leader said, and it would end his family. And he said this in front of the entire congregation. Christine even alluded to this in her book, though she didn't quote it directly. This family member was actually there when it happened and told me the whole story. And here's the kicker. Once the show aired, the church cut complete ties with them. The show exposed certain dynamics in the family that the church saw as problematic. It didn't portray polygamy in a favorable light. They didn't spell out exactly what they thought was wrong, but apparently it was enough for the church to say, "We don't want to be affiliated with this." So even though Kody and the family have often said they felt like they were helping people by being on the show, the church saw it as the opposite. Go figure. Regardless, Meri has had a strong network of people helping her get out and supporting her. And now, ironically, she's going to be the one helping Janelle with her own spiritual release. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago how ironic that is, considering the leader of their former church, Dave Lotson, isn't exactly a good guy in my opinion. He's done similar things to his own wife, abandoning her, and there's a whole lawsuit involved. So here's what's coming up. Janelle and Kody are definitely not getting back together. In fact, this whole storyline sets the stage for Meri and Janelle to have meaningful conversations about how Janelle can move forward with her spiritual release, and she actually goes ahead and completes it. One more thing I noticed is that when Kody tries to apologize to Christine, there's definitely some tension building between Kody and David, especially when it comes to the kids. The issue? Kody hasn't really been stepping up, and his relationship with the kids has been lacking, to put it mildly. And honestly, David's concerns are completely valid. I really appreciated him this week emphasizing that Kody needs to actually show up for his kids, not just talk about it. So far, his track record hasn't been great. One thing that's a bit tricky is figuring out exactly when this apology happened. I'm guessing it was around spring of 2025, which would put it right around the same time Kody and Christine were going through the mediation process for child support. David and Christine's issues with Kody are different from what Janelle or Meri are dealing with. He literally has a child he's not taking care of. In the end, Kody and Christine settled the child support case in May 2025. They went the extra step of sealing it in the Utah courts, which is unusual. Normally in Utah, you can search for divorce or child support cases by name and see public records, but in this case, it's basically scrubbed from the system. David's history is also worth noting. Before his late wife passed away, he and she had filed for divorce multiple times, each time withdrawing it later. It was clearly a rough patch. His daughter has mentioned that her mother struggled with painkiller and alcohol addiction during that period. All of those filings included children, so you can see the documents if you dig. After his wife passed away, David became the guardian and even adopted a child she had while they were married, the youngest, Maddox, who isn't his biological child. David took on the responsibility as his own, which is a lot to manage. Just imagine, he lost his wife and suddenly had 8 kids to raise. That's a monumental task, and it really puts his perspective on Kody's lack of involvement into context.
Now, some of David's kids were adults when his wife passed, but that doesn't take away from what he did next. He stepped up for Maddox, his wife's biological child, not his own, and fully embraced the role of dad. David is literally the one showing up for the kids. Kody, not so much. David wasn't about to let Kody slide by without paying his share of child support. Under Utah law, and even Arizona law, he's required to contribute. And it's shocking when you think about it. While all of this split was happening and everyone was watching it unfold on TV, Kody wasn't paying a dime for years. Christine left in 2021, and Kody didn't start paying child support until May 2025. 4 years of nothing. Meanwhile, he was profiting millions, buying a $2 million house, and squabbling with his exes about Coyote Pass. So the stakes for Christine and David are very different from what Janelle and Meri are dealing with. Their kids are still young, so the responsibilities and the consequences are very real. Sadly, Janelle never fought Kody for child support for Savannah, and she should have. It's heartbreaking that she didn't exercise those rights, either for her daughter or for herself. Christine, on the other hand, did. This season, the tension is really going to come from Kody clashing with David, and then, of course, his usual chaos with Meri. The apologies we see, they're not going to stick. By the end of the season, Kody will be back at it, screaming at the tell-all about Meri supposedly having an affair yet again, running to his friend Brian to spin lies about Janelle trying to steal money from Meri. The drama is manufactured, the chaos is constant, and no real relationships are healing here. I do hope, though, that the confrontation between David and Kody is at least somewhat genuine, and I'm glad that someone is finally sticking up for Truly. Kody isn't doing it. He can't claim he's working on relationships when he abandoned his daughter. Truly was only 11 years old when Kody and Christine split, still in middle school, yet he had already married another woman and left her to grow up without him. That's the reality of Kody Brown. So yes, these apologies, total failures. And that's why this story keeps spiraling. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.